So let's get into the big story in college football, the double overtime thriller between Colorado and Colorado State. Colorado gets it done. There was a lot of hoopla. Brady Quinn was there, Lil Wayne concert, Rob Gronkowski eating turkey legs.
The
with
Rock was there.
Party. Yeah, everybody was there. It was a party on campus.
It's like the epicenter, man.
So what was the difference between this past weekend and the weekend prior, Brady, as far as the atmosphere goes?
I mean, we had Little Weezy there. I mean, Gronk was there. A-Craze or A-Cray, however the hell you say the DJ's name. I mean, it was like there was just people were there, man. Master P was in the house.
Master P was there. Jeez.
There was all sorts of dudes. Like, I mean, it's a different vibe, man. When Deion's there,
Chauncey
like they don't. Well, he was there the week before, but I'm sure he came back. I mean, he lives in Denver. You know, it's hard to put into words the promotion around all of it. Like, let's just cut to the chase. Forget the environment and the atmosphere. The atmosphere was great. It's been great the whole year, though. This is a one-win team a year ago. These people are ecstatic about Prime and where their team's at. The Jay Norvell comments really fueled all this, right? And it played into what Deion's been preaching forever about how it's personal. And talking with him, you know, at a certain point, players get tired of hearing their coach try to motivate them. It's kind of like water off a duck's back. And so you look for other forms of motivation, and Jay Norvell gave them motivation, if you will. The only thing I wonder and question is if it became a distraction at some point. Because that was, I would say, probably their sloppiest performance. And I know Colorado State was coming off a bye, so they had a couple weeks to prepare, and they've had a couple weeks to dissect with the weaknesses. Like, Colorado can't stop a crossing route. My God. Like, all Colorado State did was run guys across the field, you know, and there was just completions and opportunities there all day. So, clearly they exploited some weaknesses. This is the first time where you saw Colorado kind of falter a little bit. The previous two games, they've taken advantage of being ahead in the turnover margin. But I do wonder if it became a bit of a distraction almost, where things became more about – I mean, you saw the pregame scuffle. Obviously, there's the cheap shot by Henry Blackburn on Travis Hunter that knocked him out of the game. It almost became like we're not as focused on making adjustments and all this. We're more focused on, like, our it's personal and the emotions that tied into it. Now, that being said, they've now found a way of winning a game three different ways, right? Opening up on the road, the way things kind of started there versus TCU, taking advantage of that, and really out the gate, like getting a lead and keeping and battling to maintain that lead. The next week, you know, they kind of same thing where they were able to control the game. They just couldn't really break it open until the second half. This was one where now they needed it. The final moments to go into OT, to be able to do that the way they did. Good teams find different ways of winning games, and that's part of it. But, again, the headlines kind of stole the show going into it. And I think that's one of the things that, like, you hear other pundits and people talk about. Like, well, hey, yeah, my mom taught me to take my sunglasses and hat off, too, when I'm talking to adults. Here's the thing. Deion does, too. Like, anyone who sits there and makes comments saying that, like, well, yeah, he should take his sunglasses and hat off. He does. He does. If you walked around their facility, you would literally see a sign outside of all the meeting rooms. No earrings, no hats, no sunglasses. There's not dudes sitting in their meeting rooms when they're going through all of this.
Like being cool cats with their glasses on and stuff.
It's not like that's happening.
Right.
Like, what you see is a promotion. He sold $1.2 million on Friday alone.
On them sunglasses.
On his sunglasses.
I knew it.
On Friday alone, $1.2 million. Like, people get too caught up in the show, and what they don't see is, like, what's underneath. It's like the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of player development. There's a lot of things going on underneath the surface that you don't see.
I'm a businessman. I'm just sitting here running the numbers in my head, bro. Holy smokes.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's unfair because you get pundits, people who don't know, that want to comment on it like they do. And it's like, well, yeah, you've never actually been inside the facility. You've never actually seen what he's preaching to these young men, what they're talking about. So I just every single time I'm always sitting there like a lot of people they only focus on the exterior and the show and everything else that goes along with it. You know, that's what kind of bothers me about it. But like the Michael Harrison kid, you know, touchdown, I think the go-ahead touchdown and all that. Like I bet him on the elevator. Couldn't have been a nicer young man with the way he conducted himself, everything else.
You could tell, too. You could tell he looked like he's a cool kid. Yeah,
all of them.
Yeah,
like all
sure.
these kids you come across and meet, you're like, they're good kids. They're getting good coaching. This isn't some like flashy thing. Like it was all for promotion of the sunglasses. But like people read into it way more than they need to. It's crazy to me.
I thought the waiting to see the game was tremendous. The fact that it was a night game and all this stuff happened leading up to it, I thought it was – I'm like really like I'm waiting for this game like it's a playoff game.
Those fans and those students looked a little worn out by the time.
Bro,
I got there.
I mean, I can't even imagine.
I saw some people – I was like, they need medical attention. Like, they ain't going to make it.
I can't even imagine. But just
they were going
excitement.
hard for, 12, 14 hours at that point?
Those kids were starting at 4 a.m.
It's a lot of excitement, man.
Yeah.
Dang. It's just and you said a lot right there. And just for me, my take on it was when you look at how that game played out, I mean, Jay Norvell is a blue-collar type of guy. And
Norvell.
We
had someone in our set say it wrong.
Yeah, my apologies, Norvell.
You're good.
To me, for their team to raise their level of performance, because that's exactly what they did. I mean, the kid Kamara, it's unfortunate that he goes out with the targeting, but I mean he was a game wrecker. He kind of wrecked the game for them for Colorado State. It was as competitive a game. It delivered on so many different levels. In terms of the entertainment aspect of it, the production, as Q said, it was all there. It was all there in its entirety, and to see it play out in a way where Shedeur Sanders is put in a prime time situation where the game is literally solely on his arm and in his hands.
What do you go, 98 yards?
98 yards.
Kid's good, man.
The kid went 98 yards. So in a game where the intensity level, and I asked myself the same question, if this type of intensity is created every single week because of the amount of attention that Deion Sanders is garnering, can these kids continue to handle the intensity level of what it feels like going into those games? I mean, that's got to be a different level of fatigue on these Colorado players than it would be on other teams out there in week 3 of the college season. So is that going to be that way the entire season? Is week 4, is the intensity level on these kids going to be the same as they continue to move forward? And can they handle that? Because that is a lot of weight on those Colorado players' shoulders. I mean, that's a lot of pressure that they have to deal with going into these games. So it'd be interesting to see.
I mean,
can they maintain?
It's definitely going to be intense the next 2 weeks. That's for sure.